It's 6:30. Good morning. I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. Stockland Glendale is hoping a $60 million expansion will be approved as early as next month. The shopping centre is planning to build an extra 50 new retail shops, a larger Coles supermarket and a restaurant precinct. It'll create an extra 278 permanent jobs and 330 during construction. Stockland is aiming to get a bigger share of retail spending around Newcastle and Lake Macquarie, which is set to hit $5 billion by 2026. The Wallsend after-hours medical service is set to close in 6 weeks due to a lack of funding. The Herald reports Hunter New England Health has withdrawn $150,000 in annual funding provided for staff and premises. It means patients will be forced to go to already busy hospital emergency departments for treatment. Meanwhile, Premier Mike Baird is remaining tight-lipped about when work will start on the much-anticipated Lower Hunter Hospital at Medford.
The Health Minister, as you know, has done a lot of work in relation to that, and we are getting close. We made a commitment that it'll be done, and our expectation is it'll be announced very shortly.
More than 100 former workers at Newcastle Airport will receive almost $500,000 in back pay. The Fair Work Ombudsman found staff who've worked at the airport's now closed sports bar and Hungry Jack's were underpaid. One worker was owed $28,000. The company responsible has agreed to pay all 123 staff what they're owed. An alcohol harm prevention toolkit has been launched to assist African refugees living in Newcastle and the Hunter. The toolkit will act as a guide for organisations working with the African community as a way of reducing alcohol-related harms. Chairperson of the Hunter Multicultural Community Drug Action Team, Tony Brown, says the Newcastle Initiative is worth implementing across the country.
The history shows that, in fact, multicultural communities, particularly refugee communities, is because of their vulnerability at much greater risk of misusing alcohol and other drugs. So they're a quite vulnerable community, and anything we can do to work with them to try and prevent that in African refugee and other communities must be a good thing for not only Newcastle but the whole country.
And the first 94 berths of the Trinity Point Marina project at Morisset Park is up for approval on Thursday by the Joint Regional Planning Panel. The $380 million project was put on hold after the global financial crisis, but is expected to begin next year. If approved, it's expected to take 2 years to complete. Johnson's Property Group Managing Director Keith Johnson says it'll be a first for the area.
There's just nothing like it. There's 250 apartments, function centre, restaurant precinct, and it's certainly a day spa. It'll certainly be good for the community.
Sport for our sponsor, NewcastleCheapestCars.com.au.
Newcastle knight Beau Scott says he hopes to put some pressure on the Queensland halves when State of Origin Game 2 kicks off in Melbourne. The Blues have trained and planned for Game 2 exactly as they did for their narrow loss to Queensland at ANZ Stadium last month. Scott says being a returned player to the representative side, he will reap the rewards of an established relationship with teammate Josh Morris.
Each edge works together, obviously, and I guess knowing the players inside and outside you help you a lot as well, and I've got a lot of faith in Josh and what he does and the role he does in the team. So, I enjoy him playing out on the edge with me.
Former Jets star Adam Taggart has thrown his support behind Scott Miller as a suitable replacement for Phil Stubbins in the Jets' top spot. Miller is understood to be shortlisted for the position after leaving English club Fulham earlier this month to pursue new opportunities. Football Federation Australia is expected to appoint a new coach before the Jets begin pre-season training next week. And in golf, Muswellbrook professional Kurt Barnes will begin his US Open campaign on Thursday at Chambers Bay. That's sport. I'm Emily Crow.
To NURFM News Time, 26 to 7.